In the name of Amen, the Supreme, the All-Powerful, the one and only true Lord, in Amen we trust as the Republic of Mentellect, the true 144,000 that's being gathered in this day and time. Good evening, I am your host, the intellectual ᴘRᴏᴊᴇᴄᴛɪᴏ, and this is Mentellect Radio, and tonight we're going to be discussing astral projection. And is it real? How real is it? First off, I'm going to start by saying that the concept of astral projection comes from a real precept or perception, which is what we teach in the Republic of Mentellect, which is solar projection. Solar projection, right? It's a concept. How do you know that? Because you got a lot of different cultures now who are dealing with astral projection, and a lot of so-called conscious people are talking about the reality of astral projection, right? And traveling outside the body, right? And I'm gonna just be, very real with it. A lot of that is concepts that black people picked up from the East Indians, the Rosicrucians, the Theosophical Society. A lot of that occultism that's here in this society. That was a concept that was created from the very real precept of solar perception, which is what our people were dealing with telepathy, psychometry, and the higher mental capabilities and active mental powers. Now, the reason why I was inspired to do this broadcast because I had a young man on my broadcast, one of my videos, telling me about how, brother, you talking about this mental thing and the mind and the mental and the mind and the mental and the mind and the mental, and everything is about astral projection, brother. They lying to you. Everything ain't about the mind. It's about astral projection and leaving the body. And I'm like, you don't understand that astral projection is dealing with the mental, but on a low level. It's dealing with spiritual encounters and concepts. I'm going to read to you from Wikipedia what the white man tells you astral projection really is, and you decide what it is from what he says, his definition, because astral projection, again, is his concept. Our precept or perception, our pure perception, is solar projection. I'm going to go into that after I read this. Astral projection is a term used in esotericism, which is dealing with the spiritual, because you got exoterism, which is exoterism, which is dealing with the physical, and esoteric is dealing with the spiritual. Is describe a willful outer body experience, a supposed form of telepathy. See, telepathy. Anything dealing with telepathic is mental. Yet this individual thought that the mental had nothing to do with this astral projection. That assumes the existence of a soul or consciousness called the astral body, right? And that separates from the physical body and is capable of traveling outside through the universe. The idea of astral travel is rooted in esotericism or occultism and is promoted by the 19th century theosophists, philosophers who explored the mystical and preternatural origins of the natural world, right? It is sometimes reported in association with dreams and forms of meditation. Some individuals have reported perceptions similar to descriptions of astral projection that were induced through various hallucinogenic and hypnotic means. And that's what a lot of you guys, I'll just stop for a second, the hallucinogenic. See, a lot of that stuff comes from the astral projection and this concept that came over here in America, came through the East Indians and all these people in the 60s. And a lot of those Black Panther and those Black Power people and, a lot of these Negroes got caught up in that whole transcendental meditation and things like that, because that's all along the same lines of astral projection, transcendental meditation, and a lot of them was doing the hallucinogenic drugs like LSD, and they were doing mushrooms, and a lot of you guys, even to this day, smoke weed, talking about you be leaving your body and traveling when you get high and you get creative, which is a load of BS. That's a load of BS. These Negroes like to be high. That's all it really is. But let me continue. um, hallucinogenic hypnotic means and self-hypnosis. There is no scientific evidence that there is a consciousness or soul which is separate from the normal or neural activity, or no one can consciously leave the body or make observations. Claims of scientific evidence in astral projection and are pseudo-scientific. This is what they say about that. All right. According to classical, medieval, and Renaissance Heroism and Neapolitanism and Theosophists and Rosicrucians, thought astral body and intermediate body are light linking to rational soul and the physical body, while the astral plane is the intermediary world of light between heaven and earth, right? Composed of the spheres of the planet and the stars, and the astral spheres held by the populated by angels, demons, and spirits. Okay. Now, what I just read, I'm gonna stop right there. You start to see where religion gets involved in this so-called astral projection, which again is a concept of solar perception. Who was the people doing solar perception? Who was the first people that was leaving out of the body and having these out-of-body encounters and traveling through the universe and seeing things in the universe? Our people, the bright race, right? So-called Nubians, right? The bright race. We were the first ones traveling having out-of-body experiences. Why? Because we're solar beings. We're solar beings in a solar system that carries light, energy, and power, and we are part of that essence of us, or what they refer to as the soul, is part of that extended light and that extended transmission. So yeah, it was possible to leave the body, travel into the future, right? That peace of the mind, or that solar mental perception and experience. It was possible to travel into the future to receive prophecy of future things, or future events, or things, and bring it back into the present. The people who described the Sirius A and Sirius B, the Dogons, they were heavy into that. The Dogons were into solar projection. They were into solar projection. That's how they were able to tell about and seeing Sirius A and Sirius B. And they didn't have to lay down and go to sleep and travel outside their body. They actually were able to see beyond physical vision into the universe, which is a form of solar projection. They were actually able to see into the universe and see that there was a Sirius A and a Sirius being described, the description of it, and that's something that the white man wasn't able to talk about until thousands of years later. They was like, how do these people know this? How did they know that? How were they able to know about a Sirius A and Sirius B and all this other stuff out there? How were they able to talk about that? That was a form of solar projection that they did. They were able to look into the universe, look into space, and see things as solar beings. See, when we were in tune with that solar self, that personified essence of pure brightness and solar energy and power within us, when we were in tune with our soul, everything was in alignment, the mind, the body, and the soul, we were able to solar project into different dimensions, outside or outer dimensions, even out into space. We were able to do that, to go forward into the future. This is where the whole idea and the thoughts of prophecy come from, when you have so-called people were able to see into the future. The ability to see into the future and predict things that would come, prophecy, is a form of solar projection. That's a gift of solar projection, which is a mental capability, a high mental capability. It is a high mental capability to be able to link outward, to be able to see forward into the future and bring it back and describe what you're seeing. That is a high mental capability. See, the people who talk about this astral projection, who claim they're traveling outside their body and seeing things and traveling and seeing, those are concepts. How you know they're concepts and they're not real perceptions or real precepts is because these people can never describe to you what they saw. They can never give you any useful intel, any useful intelligence, any useful information, whatever. They can never give you anything useful that they saw during that out of body experience that they said they have. They never can give you that. So what they're basically giving you a lot of times, and when they talk about they had their dreams, they went outside their body, they're giving you concepts that are already locked within this three-dimensional space of person, place, and possession. You know, may have been from movies, stories, encounters they heard, or just concepts that are moving within this three-dimensional space that they're giving you back. It doesn't lead to anything futuristic because they would be describing things. You would be describing things in the future if you were truly having outer body experiences, because the whole point of having it is for you to travel into the future, and your memory or your mind would take down what you were actually seeing and bringing it back into where you are in the present. I do this all the time. I go through these solar projections all the time. That's why I wrote the book about the projection. The solar projection, which, well, I should say is coming out. I did projection God, sun projection is coming out. Projection sun is coming out. Where I talk about this. Where I speak about projecting as solar beings outward in outer dimensional spaces and time, outer dimensional time frames within this planet and going beyond it. Going out into the universe, going into different solar systems. Because the universe is filled with solar systems. They're filled with solar systems to give energy, power, and projection to other planets. So the universe is filled with solar systems. That's the lights you see. That's the stars and all of those are representative of solar systems, extended solar systems. So the ability to travel out, you have to be a solar being to do that. You cannot be a lunar being. You cannot be a lunar being and travel outward. In other words, you can't be one of the spirit, a water-based being that travels out. Water-based or lunar beings are only going to feed on the concepts within this three-dimensional picture of person, place, and possession. They are barred from going outside this realm. This is why they're always talking about trying to, getting some form of enlightenment. They try to sit in a certain position. They try to chant and do things because they're trying to catch a connection, right? They're trying to catch a connection, and what's big about their astral projection is meditation. Meditation is dealing with the mind, shutting the mind down and letting the mind receive things, right? They're trying to pick up things that are coming into this atmosphere. Your mystics, your gurus, and all these other people who are trying to get this state of enlightenment or get connected, they're trying to link into that solar perception or that solar perception. They're trying to link into that. They don't get it as spiritual people who are created on earth in a three-dimensional space of person, place, and possession. They don't get it. They only get concepts that are fed to them that come through here that are generated into this atmosphere, right? But once they're generated into this atmosphere, if you are not a solar being, one who possesses a soul, then your visions, your perceptions of it are going to be limited. And then you'll get concepts. You'll get conceptualized versions of the first precept, of the first perception. That's why, if you notice, when I read a lot of this stuff about astral projection, you'll start to hear certain things that they say are true. They'll talk about the mind and the soul and things like that. But if you notice, starts getting conceptual when you start talking about the theosophical people. You start talking about the spiritual thing, and you start getting into that. That's when it starts to get the hermetism and all this. It gets into these, and the Rosicrucians. It gets into these spiritual. Esoteric groups. They get into these spiritual esoteric groups, and it becomes a concept. And like I said, our people love to grab on the concepts because perception-wise, a lot of our mental capabilities are not up. So we tend to want to jump onto concepts that are close to the perception. Like I said, astral projection is close, but it is not solar perception. It is not solar projection, I should say. It's not solar projection, right? It's astral. You should actually call it astral conception. It's astral conception is a ripoff of solar projection. It's astral conception. Because look at all the different concepts you're able to get from it. You'll hear the Rosicrucians say one thing about it. You'll see the Theosophists say something else. You hear the Buddhists say something else. So after a while, it becomes a concept of something that was real. Same thing with your biblical stories, where your biblical stories, they have an origin someplace else. When you get different cultures of people who the accounts didn't come to, they take those accounts and turn them into stories or concepts. This is the same thing that happens with the astral conception. It becomes a concept. The ability to solar project is a real capability. It's a mental capability. It's a solar capability. It's very real. But you have to keep in mind that it is a mental capability. Your mind, your body, and soul have to be in alignment in order to do it. Your mind, body, and soul have to be in alignment to do it. You can't say, oh, well, the mind don't play a part in it. It's just your soul leaving your body. Well, if your mind don't play a part in it and your soul is just wandering, then your soul is would just be wandering, and there's no mental direction. There's no point of leaving. It's just like anything in sleep. You'll sleep and you'll feel like you're having this out of body experience, or you dreaming, and your spirit, your soul will go wandering about. When your soul is really still in this atmosphere, still in this three-dimensional space, because you don't really, a lot of times, you might go ahead and you'll have some people will have future visions of what's going to happen, and they dream, so that was an out-of-body experience, but the travel forward is limited, because usually you're not in connection, or it's not in alignment. Your mind, your body, and your soul are not in alignment. So there's no direction when you leave your body. You just going and you traveling and whatnot, but you're still in this three-dimensional space. And a lot of times you think you done went outside the three-dimensional space. And you didn't. You didn't go outside the three-dimensional space, because when you come back, 9 times out of 10, you don't bring nothing back with you. If all these people were supposedly astral projecting and going to different phases and different dimensions and going into space and all this other stuff, then how come they didn't bring nothing back? How come they didn't bring nothing back? Any useful information, any useful knowledge? How come they didn't bring nothing back with them? All they can do is, I traveled the stars and I saw this and I saw, this. Okay, well, what's the point? What was the point of that? See, that's where the mind comes in. The mind gives it meaning. The mind gives it a point of doing things. Because when it's absent of the mind, then there's a limitation there. The mind gives it meaning. When you do things, whether you do things consciously or subconsciously, the mind has to play a part in that. The mind has to play a part in that. There's no, I just went over here and I traveled outside my body for this, that, and the third. It don't work like that. It has to be a point on where you go. That you don't just go outside in the street and you don't just walk around aimlessly, do you? No. You usually, when you walk out in the street, you usually have a point, a place where you're going to. Your mind already has it set that you're going to go to a place. You're going to arrive at a destination. You're going to do what you're supposed to do, and you're going to come back. That's how the so-called astral projection is supposed to work. But being that it's a concept and not a real precept of the person who has these connections or these encounters, being this not a real perception, and these people are working off of concepts of things they heard already, then there's no point in it. Like I said, they'll think a dream is really astral projection or some kind of higher encounter or point of travel, and it's not, because you were not able to bring anything back from it. You weren't able to bring nothing back from it. You go places for a reason. I don't care if you in physical state or if you in a solar state. You go places for a reason. And if you can't tell me what you went there for, then you didn't go there. You didn't really go anyplace. And that's what the majority of these so-called astral projecting people and these conscious people who talk this stuff, that's really what they're saying. Because once you say, the mind, you try to separate the mind from the travel, the solar travel. Once you separate that, I already know you don't know what you're talking about. Once you separate the mind from the solar travel, right, from when the soul travels, once you say, it's not a mental thing, it's a soul thing, it's all supposed to be one thing. It's one thing. the mind and the mind and the soul, and now your physical body may be laying there stuck, but you have that soul body or that solar body or that solar form that travels with you. You have a solar form that travels with you, that leaves your body. They call it etheric. Like Dr. Yorkin used to call it etheric. You have an etheric body or a solar body. You have an etheric body that leaves your physical form, and it carries your mind and your soul in it. So you have an etheric form, and it travels to these different places, but it has to be in alignment. Then your body becomes a shell, right? And it is temporarily vacant, and you will return. You're supposed to return with a level of intel, a level of intelligence, a level of information, knowledge to give to the people in the present. That's the whole point of doing it. Like the Dogons did. They was able to come back and talk about Sirius A and Sirius B in those constellations because they had a point of doing that. And writing that down and passing on through written and oral tradition, this was the point of them doing that. To know and let their people know that there is a capability of projection, mental projection, solar projection outside the physical body. That was the point of it. And that was the proof when they brought that back, because they knew that thousands of years ahead, hundreds of years, however long it took, man would discover that what they were saying in that state of mental projection, in that state of solar projection, that what they were saying was right and exact, that they actually visited Sirius A and Sirius B, that they actually saw it. You understand? That they would actually be able to acknowledge what they were saying as the truth. So that's the point of that. If people don't get that, right? If people don't get that, then you lost. There's always got to be a point to everything you do. That's the reason why you have a mind. That's the reason you have a mind. Your mind is the solar brain. I'm going to say it again. Your mind is the solar brain. It's the soul of the brain. Your mind is the soul of your brain. So when your mind, your etheric body, and your soul, the energy that is taking you to these different spheres, taking you to these different dimensions, taking you outside into these different spheres, when your soul, your mind, and your etheric body travel outward into the universe, out into space, it is meant to bring back information. It is meant to bring back and record information and bring it back into your physical body. And it's going to be recorded into your brain. What you saw, right? What you saw, what your pineal gland picked up, your extended pineal gland picked up, and brought into that etheric body, brought into that mind, brought and went into your soul and went into your being, it's going to be brought back into the brain. It's saving it to bring back into the brain and relay it to the brain in your physical body in the present time. That's how that works. It is all a mental extension. It is a mental extension. It is an etheric extension. And it is a soul extension. The people in spirit, the people who are created here on earth, they are limited to that. They can only pick up things in this present state. They can only pick up things that are being streamed into this atmosphere through the projection of sunlight onto the earth. They can only pick up things from there. This is why your elites, your Illuminati and them, they do their seances, they do their rituals and things like that, or their special rituals or spirituals. They do all this stuff, do their hymns and they singing, because they're trying to cut into that frequency and that transmission that is being streamed by way of solar projection onto the planet. They're able to get certain things that are coming in, but the projection is still limited. Because once it hits into this three-dimensional space, if you do not carry a soul, you're not going to be able to pick up all the full channels of what you're seeing. You're not going to be able to go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6. You're only going to go, when you have a spirit, you're only going to go 1, 2, 3. That's why everything within this system is dealing with 1, 2, and 3. Everything is limited by 3. Things come in threes. And this is why the perception and everything that mankind gets is limited to three: person, place, and possession. But when you have a soul, you have the ability to link into the power. And that power is extended vision, extended travel, extended viewing. This is where the etheric body, the soul, and the mind take over. And they become extended versions. This is why we say Amen. Amen represents the extended self. That's why I kept saying Amen is beyond man. Amen is up beyond man and woman. That represents the extended self or the extended body of beings who are part of that extended mind, body, and solar perception and projection. That represents them. That's why I said it's not no, oh, God and the devil. That's why I said that Amen is above God and the devil. God and the devil is the same being that's created here on earth. Good and evil, positive, negative, black and white. That's all polarities. But when you go past that and you're dealing with judgment, aka judgmental, you are being judgmentally to be able to see or judge whether you are able to perceive of these different things within this solar projection. Within this solar projection, you're being judged to see if you're able to go beyond the polarities, to go into the state of brightness. The state of brightness is where that solar projection or the extended version of self is constantly moving, continuous. That's solar projection. That's solar projection. Astral projection is a concept of man from the real precept or perception of solar projection. To project something, to push something outward, forward, to send energy, power, light forward. If you cut on a flashlight, you projecting that light outward from the flashlight. You projecting it out, and you pointing it somewhere. So think of yourself, think of your body as the flashlight, as the physical flashlight, and think of your soul as the light coming out of the flashlight, the physical light. And then it's being pointed, because if you point the flashlight, the point is, even when you turn the flashlight on, you're going to point it in the direction because you're trying to shine the light on something. And if you're shining the light on something, that is your mind telling you that this light or this energy is supposed to go in a certain direction, right? Your mind is saying that this light, you're not going to just cut the light on just to have the light on. You're cutting the light on because your mind is telling you that it's supposed to be utilized for something to go in a certain direction, for something to see something in a certain direction. That's the same way the solar projection works. You're only going to travel and you're only going to push your energy or your soul out of your body to go to a certain direction or go into a certain space to pick up something, to get something, to travel to get something and bring it back. So if you're not bringing anything back and you claim that you had these astral projections, then I know you didn't have a real astral projection. You didn't, because you ain't got nothing to bring back. You can't tell me what your experience or your encounter was. You can't tell me anything. All you could tell me is, oh, I saw this, and yeah. People say that in dreams all the time. People say that. Like I said, I'm not saying you didn't pick up anything from that state, but your encounter of what you picked up was limited, and it was based within this realm. It was based within this earthbound realm. It could be based in something you saw already or something you heard that was in the subconscious. And a lot of times when you have this astral projection, you projecting into your subconscious. You actually didn't go anywhere. You projecting into your subconscious, into images and pictures and episodes that are stored within your mind, within your brain. You go into your brain and you pick up these things that are stored there in the subconscious, and you travel there and you going over these things that you might have stored like years ago, months ago, whatever the case may be, and you are viewing these things. And a lot of you think that's astral projection. That's not astral projection. That's inner projection. That's inner projection. It could have been something you saw. It could have been an image, anything, a movie you saw. It could have been something that you came across, something you heard, something, and you go into that. Because like I said, you can never, when you do that, you never are able to get anything from it. Even when you have these dreams, and if you're not talking about future events or something prophetical or something that's going to happen, because you have to have a reason to go and have that dream or go in that state, and you're not bringing nothing back, then you ain't got nothing. But if you went and you went ahead maybe 2, 3, 4 years in advance or 20 years down the line, you saw something, it was meant for you to see that and bring it back and describe it. But that ability, to have that ability, you have to be in alignment, mind, body, and soul. All three have to be in alignment. Now, in this society, they're trying to get you to be in alignment, mind, body, and spirit. Mind, body, and spirit is dealing with the water energy of this planet and the fluid dream state of this planet. You hear how they say the dreams are fluid? Your dreams are fluid and your motion is fluid. They want you to be part of this fluid motion of dreams, because a lot of what they were pushing with the astral projection, right? When they was pushing, when you had these doctors like your Timothy Leary's and was pushing the LSD, they really wanted to put people under a form of mind control or submental mind control to induce dreams in your head so that they can do the MK Ultra. A lot of your MK Ultra is based on this submental form of astral projection. Your MK Ultra and your mind control and putting you under and putting you in situations, that's based on astral projection, but on a low level, because all the astral projection is low level and submental forms of solar projection. That's all it is. I'm going to take a call. 217. 217.
I'm just listening.
Oh, okay. All right. Put you back on mute. All right. But you got to be careful when you press 1, because if you press 1, then I'm going to think you're trying to call in. But okay. Anyway, these things, the extension of that projection has to be based in a energy push or solar burst. It has to be a solar burst that pushes this projection forward, right? There's a solar burst or projection coming out of you, then that means everything becomes extended. Your vision becomes extended. Your hearing becomes extended. All your mental capabilities start to heighten. Your senses start to heighten when you're able to do this projection, right? All these things start to heighten. So when you are actually having this form of projection, and you're going outward in the outer dimensions, and you're going into space, and you're going through, you're going into the universe, and you're having these thoughts about other realms and different spheres and things like that. That's a form of a solar burst right there. That's a form of a solar burst right there. That's pushing you up mentally and out, right? Because everybody doesn't have these bursts of projection. Everybody doesn't have this in their lifetime. Everybody doesn't experience this. So what makes you different? Everybody is not going to see future events or extended events and things like that and be able to bring that back into the present state and share it with people. Everybody's not going to be able to do that. Certain people get it. Certain people don't. The ones who used to get it heavy was the so-called black race. Our people, the so-called black race, would get solar projections all the time. That's where the whole idea, again, of prophets in your Bible come from. People who talked about prophecy. How were they able to talk about prophecy and write down things that people? And I said, your true prophets were your ancient Egyptian pharaohs and all these people. Those were your real prophets. And from there, your so-called story, your biblical Bible of Israel and all this, they took from there, and from there they created your prophets and your stories and your King David and all these other people. But prophets, or people who were talking about prophecy, were people who saw things in the future. This was possible by solar projection. Solar projection. What is the soul for? The soul is the whole point of the soul is to carry energy forward. The essence of you, the soul, is power. The same sun or the solar energy or power, the energy that's radiating from the sun is charging you, those who carry soul or energy force. So that same projection is moving through you, generated through you. And you're able to pick up things in a solar system and outside a solar system where all of this, or what you call in the universe, outward is based on solar system or solar complexes. And if you're able to pick up things from solar complexes in different spheres of energy where you're seeing these dark spaces that are lit, that carry energy, that carry information, intelligence, and whatnot, and you're able to see these things, and you're able to go into these different dimensions, because within all these different galaxies and these different spaces in the in the universe, there is light projection, and there is intel or information within the stars, within the solar system, within the planets. There's information there. How old they are, what the point of it is, why is it in the space it's in. So if you're able to move into those spaces, if you're able to take yourself into these spaces or cast yourself outward, project yourself outward into these spaces, there's supposed to be a reason why you're doing it. There's supposed to be a reason why you're doing it. Let me take a call. 608.
Yeah, I just want to. I'm kind of like, I'm nervous a little bit because I've been wanting to like talk to you for a long time. But anyway, I'm trying to see if you can help me get a clear understanding of these experiences I had experience happen to me similar to what you're saying. So I'm just trying to see how this was an astral projection, or what you said it was again, solar perception. And
solar projection.
I guess so.
Solar projection. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I'm gonna start from the beginning. Like my guy, he came to work one day. This was like when I was 2010, and so he came to work talking about astral projection, how he astral projected himself, and he telling me about it. And I'm thinking it's just like some BS. And then we having lunch, we go outside. We about to come back into the building, and he's like, I'm gonna astral project myself onto you, Tony. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. And I was in front of him, you know what I'm saying? I opened the door, I went in, and he was behind me. And he it made this like big vibration come over my body, and I just stopped still in my tracks. And then it was like I lifted out of my body, and I was looking down at myself, and I was looking at the light body of myself, and I was like red, and I was looking down at myself, and then I turned around to look at him, and he was out of his body as well, and he was green. And I was just like, whoa. And then I slammed back into my body, and I was like, what was that? And he was like, I told you I was going to astral project myself onto you, Tony. And I'm like, all right. So I had never heard of that to that day. So I went back to the house, and I'm like trying to figure out exactly what that was. But I'm like, when it happened, something like tweaked in my mind. I was like, wow, it's something more to, I knew it was something more to life. Since I was a little kid, I just thought it was more, but I just couldn't figure it out. I always seemed like it was something behind everything that I was seeing. So when that experience happened to me, I was like, okay, I felt kind of betrayed, because I'm like, damn, people lied to me. Why didn't anybody ever tell me that we had this other part of us? And I just thought that was my soul coming out of my body. And I was like, okay, why didn't nobody really tell me about this? So I was like trying to find out more information about astral projection, So at this time, I was in a relationship with this girl, and I'm all in love, lovey-dovey or whatever, and we like chilling. And I found this like YouTube video talking about meditation. It was talking about the perfect self, and we was just kind of chilling, watching the meditation video. And unknowingly, we both fell like into like I started coming out of my body again. I started relaxing. I got super relaxed.
Hold on, a trance.
Is that what that was? Yeah, because it kept saying like. He kept saying, like, you're perfect. If you're having a thought coming by, just, let's let it happen. And think about perfection. I kept thinking about perfection and feeling the perfection. So I'm slowly getting relaxed, and then I start seeing this, like, white light, and I was vibrating in the top of my head, and it was like, it felt like I had, like, this super orgasm, and then I like it was better than any orgasm, any drug, anything I had ever experienced. And I came out of my body again, and then I'm like looking around the room, and everything looked different. It looked mad clear, super HD, looked kind of sparkly. And then I turned around to look at my girl, and she was out of her body too. But when she looked at me, it was like she had like fear, a whole bunch. I could feel all this fear inside of her, and then we both slammed back into our bodies, and I was like shaking, and I was like, what the, like I didn't understand what that was. So when I had that experience, because from her fear, I was just, it felt like I kind of absorbed it, and I didn't want to ever try it again because it was like, it felt super good, but I was like, what was that thing? It was like her fear had me thrown off. So fast forward, maybe a year later, I hadn't, tried it again to do anything. And I was like, okay, let me try doing this again. And I tried it in my room. I relaxed, and I did it again, but it was like very short. And then I like slammed back into my body, and I'm like, okay. And I don't know what it was, but something told me to like go outside and try to do it. And so I had been like looking at the sun. I was outside, and I was chilling, looking to the sun. And I was like, okay, let me try to relax and do it again. Now, I did it when I was outside, and when I came out of my body when I was outside, it was like I could feel connected to everything that was like in my field of vision, and then at the same time, I had like 360 vision. I could see all around and up and down, and I was just like, okay, this is different, and it was like I felt super connected, like I seen a squirrel, like I could feel the animals and stuff move in the environment, like I could see like a squirrel that was way down the street move, and I was like, this is crazy, and then I slammed back to my body again. So I started sun gazing more. And so when I was like looking into the sun and absorbing energy, and one day I went outside and it was a storm, and the storm was going on, and try to astral project, but instead of coming like out of my body and seeing an astral body, I went into the clouds of the storm, and I was looking at myself from the storm at myself on the porch. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And I could feel myself inside of the storm. And then the storm slowly started to diminish. And then I came back into my body. And I kind of like, okay, well, that was crazy. What was that? And so I'm like looking in between these trees, wondering what's going to happen. And I'm like, is it some lightning going to happen or something? And then it was like a huge dust came over me. And I got this vibration of like the earth was talking to me in a way. And I was like, it was trying to communicate with me, and it was just a feeling of deep love. And I was like, okay, I don't know what that was, but that was different again. So I had another experience, like doing my sun gazing thing, but instead of me going up out of my body, I went forward I looked into like forward instead of going up, like directing my energy up. I directed it forward, and it was like I was starting to see like lights, like I was going into space, and it started off really slow, and then it got really, really fast, and then I went through some kind of warp hole, and I was just like shot through the warp hole, and next thing I know, I'm like looking in Egypt, and I could see myself in an astral form where like I got like a tail. I could see my body, but I'm moving super fast, and I have a tail, and everything that my tail is touching, and everything I look at, I kept getting all this information, and I'm learning this stuff super fast. And I'm like, why am I knowing this stuff? Everything I look at, I'm knowing about it.
Hold on. Before you keep going, what did you bring back from it?
Okay.
Did you write this stuff down? Did you write it down?
Nah, I didn't write it down because I really didn't understand what I got from the storm. Going to the storm is that somehow I can connect into the weather, and then when I went through the whole Egypt thing, I'm like looking at stuff, and then I'm just going really fast, and then all of a sudden I pop out into space, and I'm like, it goes from me looking at myself into third person into first person, and then I'm in space and I'm looking around. I'm like, but where's the sun at? I can see a part of the earth, a glowing of the earth, and I'm like, okay, I'm trying to find out the sun, and then it's like I started seeing this like big black cloud thing coming towards me, and I'm like, wait, what is this? What is this? I want to go towards it, but it's pushing me away, and it slammed me back into my body. And what it told me was, when I came back, it told me like, oh, this is how people unlock psychic abilities or something. Like you can somehow open up your mind's eye and find out things and know things. And whatever I was trying to connect to, it pushed me away. It was saying I didn't have enough light to resonate to whatever that other information was.
You know what? That's what I was about to say. Let me ask you something. I don't mean to be funny here. Do you get high?
Not now.
When you was going through that, did you get high?
Hello?
Yeah, when you was going through
Hello?
that, did you get high? Hello?
In the beginning,
Hello?
yeah. In the beginning, yes. In the beginning, yeah. And then I stopped because I didn't want to think that it was influence. I was trying to make sure it wasn't the influence of the drugs that was making me, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to try to do it without it. Because even through that period, I went through that period when I was doing all this stuff, I went through a deep, like, detox of everything. So I stopped watching TV. I just stopped, like, doing other stuff because I was just trying to figure out, because I'm reading these books and I'm trying to figure out, like, what is this, what's going on? And a big part of it, they was talking about renunciation or something like that, like, you know, just to stop, like, doing all these other lower level things. So I was just, like, not doing a lot of normal stuff that I used to do, and I was just mainly focused on what is this going on with, because I just know it's something else to myself, but I'm not knowing exactly what it is.
How old are you?
I am 34 now. This happened when I was 28.
Do you still have these experiences?
I really stopped because when I came back, I was like, I felt, what I felt from it was that it's a lot of different powers, like you talk about the psychometry and all that different stuff. I felt what I got from it was that these powers are there and they're dormant, but I don't know how to unlock them. It just told me it's something that's for people later on, and I need to get with people that's like me, that's trying to do these things, because I don't have enough energy myself to do a whole bunch of stuff. Like, it just was telling me I need to be around more people like that's on the same frequency, I guess.
Well, see, the whole thing is, I listened to everything you said, and I was going to tell you that the reason why you're going to channel certain things, and that sounded like what you were doing, you were channeling certain things, certain encounters you were having with channels of alternate experiences and things that you became an open vessel to, like in the past, present, and even in the future and things like that. You become an open vessel to see these things, and you'll go into a state of trance, to get and see certain things. But if you don't have a point in doing this, if you are connected to things here, because everything you do is supposed to have a point to it. That's why I asked you, did you write any of these things down? Do you remember why you did it? Was there a point in doing this? So
yeah, and I was explaining to my friend when I explained it to him, that guy that actually got me started, when we was like having a conversation not too long ago, he was like, so, but what's the point of all this? And I was just like, I really didn't have like exactly what was the point, except that I need to be around trying to figure it out more with people that's on the same level. We need to get together so we can gather more energy to do more things.
Okay, well, like I said, if you are of that extended body of people and whatnot, then you would have to cause a separation within yourself from other people who are not like that, and get around people. That's what the whole gathering of the 144,000 represented, the people who can actually have these capabilities, who can see into the future, who have that extended vision. Because the people who don't have it, like I said, you're going to dull those senses, and you're not going to be able to have any true rhyme or reason for why you're doing it. Your mind does not seem like it's in alignment with that energy that was going through you. So you were just wandering into spaces where you would not even understand why you were there. You were wandering into spaces, and you didn't know what you was there for. And you might, like I said, people done had these encounters. I had them when I was younger. People had these encounters and things like that, and you trying to figure out what it is and why you going through these things. But like I said, if you the longer, that's why I asked you again, Did you get high? Did you do any of these things? The more and more you amongst people who don't have a clue what these things is, it brings down your projection and your frequency of, what the point, why you're going through these experiences and having these encounters. So if you're going to do this again, if this was something that was only, to show you or put you in alignment with something, I suggest you try it again, but don't include your friend next time.
All right.
Don't include anybody. And don't get high. Don't watch no TV. Don't do any of this stuff. I suggest you try it and see how pure it is, and then do it with the intention of finding out why. Try to attach your mind to it, because that's the biggest thing with a lot of these so-called conscious and astral body people. They like to think that the mind has nothing to do with it, and it has everything to do with it, because your mind represents the direction in which you're going to go. It's going to be what you recording these encounters on in order to bring it back to the brain. Because if you were able to record these encounters in the mind, and when you were in that etheric body or wherever you were going, because you still stayed within, and that's another thing. When you start telling me you stayed within this realm, you kept talking about things on Earth. When you stay, within this realm, and when you're seeing these things, if you're encountering these things and whatnot, and if you are fully awake and encountering these things, your mind is supposed to act like a recorder to take all of these encounters, take all these experiences back to the brain and send it through the neurotransmitters so it can break down mathematically what all of this means, because that's what your mind is. Your brain is. Your brain is meant to be a computer. It's supposed to compute all of the things that your mind is picking up. You follow?
Yeah.
Okay, so if your mind has to take all of these things back, your mind has to store all of this stuff and take it back to the brain and then break it down on what this means, and then you'll start to get the answer on what the point of this, all of this is. All right?
All right. Well, I have one more question for you. It's kind of a little off a subject, but if you already disqualified yourself from being able to be part of the bright race by mixing your seed, is it possible, if you can prove yourself, being in alignment with the bright race in the future, you can? Is it possible for you? I don't know, for you to be able to be judged and to be upgraded into the bright race if you prove yourself? If you can be in the light, and then do enough work and prove yourself to upgrade to bright, or is it just you only can, the best you can probably be is light, in the light race?
Well, you'll never be in the light race. You'll be stuck in the black race, because the Caucasian, the East Indian, all of them, they are of the light race. That's why they do all of this transcendental meditation, because they're trying to be the people of the light. All they're going to be limited to is the light. Your Caucasians, your East Indians, your Asians, they're the people of the light race. We are supposed to be people of the bright race, which is above, or at that extended vision of that solar energy above the spirit as a soul people. So the only thing you can either do is you're going to be of the black or you're going to be of the bright. So the only way you can be upgraded into the bright, I told you, join the Republic of Mentellect, and if you are dealing with somebody who is not of the bright race, I suggest you start to sever your tie with them, because they're going to bring down that vibration.
Yeah, I already been feeling that, because it's you can't get them to even, it's so hard for them to try to resonate with the information, because it's so above them, and they kind of caught up in all they psychological stuff, and they don't believe in it's nothing else besides what's going on here. So, you
with a human?
Yes.
Are you with a? You're with a human? A pale human?
Yeah, unfortunately, yep.
Man, you gotta let that pale human go. You got black humans too, so this is not a race thing. You got black humans too. You don't get a black human. Go get one of the bright.
I think I'm disqualified already, because I'm disqualified already if I mix my seeds. So I'm kind of I'm hopeless. There's kind of no really way for me to be part of the bright race.
You mixed your seed.
Yep. Unfortunately.
Go get you. Well, then go get you another woman and put your seed. Put out. Well, that's why you got more seeds, brother. If you say you hopeless and you disqualified yourself, then you disqualified yourself. You chose that. That's your judgment.
Oh no, I just thought that's just how it was. Like once you do that, then that was it for you. Like
you go get you a bright woman and you plant bright seeds, brother. That's how you do it. That's regeneration. You know what I'm saying? That seed you done made that seed is only going to be designated to the light race. If anything, either it's going to be in the light race or the dark race. That's it. But your future progeny to regenerate your seed, and that's probably why you're not being extended, because I told you extension works on the genetic and the DNA, meaning that I'm not going to the DEA thing of it, but it works in the genetic because your sons, your children, your daughters, whatever you're going to have, your future children are supposed to be the ones that make it into the future, and they are the ones through which you travel. You travel through them mentally, physically, and soulfully. You travel through your future children. So maybe you're having bits of light projection, not full-on bright projection, because you have mixed your seed with someone who is of the light race, and you are of that in that state of darkness. So the best your seed going to be that you got now is going to be of the light persuasion. In other words, they're going to seek out spirituality, but they'll never have that full-on solar projection. They won't have it.
So, okay, I got you.
All right.
Well, yep. Thank you. I appreciate your words. I appreciate everything you do. Yeah, I've been listening to you for like the past year. I know. I know when I heard you, you was the truth, and because it was the first new thing. Because it was like I did so much studying and looking and finding everything, and it was like so much all the same stuff. And then when I came and heard this, and I was like, oh, this is where it's at. This is my first. Like I was really surprised. I was like, oh, this is new. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, okay, this is real. This is what's up.
All right. Don't give up. Like I said, you only judge yourself. If you say it's over for you, it's over for you. Go get you a bright woman, brother, and join the Republic. All right?
All right. Yep. Thank you.
All right. We're going to play a little bit of music. My man, Idris Muhammad, Peace of Mind. We'll be right back. For those of you who are in the who listen to us all the time and catch our broadcast Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I want you to tune in on Thursday nights for Sister ᴘRᴏᴊᴇᴄᴛɪᴏ. She starts her broadcast at 10 p.m. Sister ᴘRᴏᴊᴇᴄᴛɪᴏ, sister in the Republic of Mentalist. Sister Mentalist talks a lot about finances and the evolving of the bright race of Amen and the extension of the new bright woman. The extension of the new bright woman. So check her broadcast out on Mentellect Radio tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Please check out her broadcast, Sister ᴘRᴏᴊᴇᴄᴛɪᴏ, at 10 p.m. On Mentellect Radio tomorrow night. I'll also announce that again at the end of the broadcast. Also, go to the GoFundMe account for Mentellect Films. Go to my GoFundMe account. I'm working on a screenplay. This is for an independent film. Go to the ᴘRᴏᴊᴇᴄᴛɪᴏ's GoFundMe account for Mentellect Films. ᴘRᴏᴊᴇᴄᴛɪᴏ's GoFundMe for Mentellect Films. Those of you who donate $25, you will receive let me know you donate at least $25. You will receive the American Pharaoh T-shirts from our limited stock of the American Pharaoh Company, because that company is going out of business and we're doing something brand new, spanking new company, new everything. I don't want to give it away, but we'll be ready for the summer. So that those of you who got that last, who could get the last of the limited edition American Pharaoh Company shirts, go and donate $25 to the GoFundMe account for Mentellect Films. We're going to make a film this summer. So since you like the documentaries on Mentellect Channel 144 and the stuff on Mentellect Radio, our official page is on YouTube, Mentellect Channel 144. Subscribe to Mentellect Channel 144, because tonight's broadcast is going to be a video that the brothers are going to put up, and also subscribe to Mentellect Radio on YouTube. Not Mentellect TV. That has nothing to do with us. That's a fraudulent channel. But anyway, when you're dealing with concepts, because you got a lot of people who wanted to step in, and this is why we brought out all this comes in alignment with Mentellect and what we're teaching. When I brought up judgment, and I brought up the name of the Lord, right? And I said that the Lord equals judgment. And I said I wasn't teaching religion, right? I was teaching reception. All of this plays a part in the solar projection, right? In the solar projection, in the mind projection, right? All this plays a part in Mentellect. Mentellect is all about solar projection and is all about mind projection. It's not about religion. When I talked about the Lord, I meant to as the overlord over positive and negative, good and evil, because that's what a lot of people, when they get these limited visions, when they get these limited encounters through what they're calling the concept of astral projection, it's usually based on positive and negative. See, when you base something as far as something is supposed to be on a higher level, on a high mental capability, when it's based in positive and negative, good and bad, you're going to get a limited view or limited perception of what you're supposed to be receiving. That's why I was asking the brother that. See, because you still exist in the realm of polarities, positive and negative, good and evil. You don't know how to just receive by way of judgment. You don't know how to discern. So the ability to discern is dealing with Amen. When I talk about the Amen, above human, I said we deal with the Lord, which represents our ascendants, which are the judges over positive and negative, over good and evil, over what you're calling God and the devil, because God and the devil exist in man and woman. There's no pitchfork and horns and angels with halos over the head. No, there's man and woman. The spirit of man and woman is God and the devil on earth, good and evil. And solar perception has to work beyond that, because that's a high mental capability that's dealing with judgment or judgmental capability. And that's Amen. I said we follow the Lord of judgment. We follow the Lord of judgmental power. Judgmental power deals with perception, extended perception. And when you follow the Lord of judgment, which is Amen, through extended perception, you become a part, or you start to know, like the people in the church say, you don't know the Lord. See, they don't even know what they're saying when they say, y'all don't know the Lord, you don't know the Lord. They say stuff like that, but then they don't even know what they mean. They don't know what they mean. They don't understand that the Lord has nothing to do with God and the devil. The Lord has nothing to do with God and the devil. The Lord is the overlord beyond God and the devil, beyond good and evil, beyond positive and negative, beyond polarities. And the only way you're able to link to that solar projection and that solar perception is when you get beyond bad and good, beyond black and white, beyond positive and negative. When you start to deal with things through frequency, tone, and power. And that is a solar perception and a solar projection. You have to have that ability. The ones who are supposed to have it the strongest are the bright race. That's why I don't refer to, I'm not talking about the black race, I'm talking about the bright race. The people who are those extended people, those extended beings who have extended beyond darkness, who have extended beyond black and white. That is the solar beings, right? That's what judgment is, and that's when I say the Lord, I want that to be ultra stood, that's dealing with our ascendants. Our ascendants have made it past good and evil, and they have become judges of the future world. They have become judges in the future world, and we are coming into alignment with them, because the ability to come into alignment with our ascendants, the Amen being, our children, because like I said, this is no spookism, this is no God in the sky and God sitting on the throne. No, we're not dealing with that. God and the devil live on earth in people. That's polarities. That's positive and negative. That's good and evil. That's emotions. We're not dealing with that. We're dealing with judgment. We're dealing with judgment. Right? Judgment is over good and bad, positive and negative. And when you come into alignment with judgment without polarity, without emotion, then you start to get or come into alignment, or you'll start being able to inherit these mental capabilities. You start to come in alignment with it. When the brother was explaining it, he was still dealing with it from a state of not understanding. He was still dealing with it from emotion. You know, you want to do things, or you want to be a part of something, or you subconsciously want to do that, but you don't know why. There's no rhyme or reason for it. So we have to come into alignment on what the rhyme and reason is. The purpose, that's the judgment. The ability to receive that judgment, to come into alignment with Amen as those omni beings. Amen represents the omni, or the extended beings. It's not dealing with no God, no devil, and no religion and none of that. That's dealing with reception. I said mentellect is a reception, not a religion. I'm going to say it again for those of you who didn't hear me. Mentellect is a reception, not a religion. This guy in the thing, he going to say, oh, see, brother, you trying to teach another religion. I said, but you talking about astral projection. And see, that's the concept of man, which you teaching. But you teaching astral projection, which is a concept of man. I just proved to you through the Theosophical Society, through all these people, through the Rosicrucians and all these people, it's nothing but a concept to these people. And you black people have accepted concepts because the reason you embrace concepts like religion, like spirituality, like astral projection, you embrace these things because you can discard concepts, and you can take them on and discard them, and you can take them on and discard them. They don't really mean anything, and y'all have become attached to rituals and practices that don't mean nothing. This is why you don't know who you are as a people. This is why you don't have any real purpose or idea what your purpose is here, because you're attached to so many concepts that don't mean nothing, like astral projection, like religion, like spirituality. They don't mean anything. They're nothing but concepts of man, broken concepts from real and actual precepts or perceptions. Solar projection, mental projection, etherical projection is all one body within Amen projection. It's really all Amen projection. It's really Amenic projection. That's what we're going to teach in the Republic of Mentellect, Amenic projection. All three in alignment as an extended body, Amenic projection. We teaching that in Mentellect, Amenic projection, as part of Amenism. We teaching Amenic projection. And we're not teaching like nobody else ever taught. These are only going to be lessons within the Bright Order. Only within the Republic of Mentellect. This not going to be on no radios. This ain't going to be people who just going to be able to come into this. It ain't going to happen like that. It's not going to happen like that. This is going to be for people who are going to experience this encounter as a community. And as we're experiencing these encounters as a community, we'll know exactly why we experience them, because we go into it mind, body, and soul all in alignment. We're going into it mind, body, and soul in alignment. So this becomes Amenic projection, above astral projection. We going into it knowing what we're doing. It all has to be in alignment. You can't go in and talk about, oh, well, see, you can't go in with the mind, brother. You got to go in with your soul. Well, you guys don't went in with your soul, and you came back with nothing, man. You really didn't even go in with your soul. You went in with your spirit, because a lot of you have become spiritual beings, and you get caught up in bits and pieces. You get caught up in frames and whatnot, get caught up in frames of situations that are going on around you. And when you get caught up in that, because you become spiritual energy, you get caught in that, you start wondering, well, what's this going on around me? You don't have any clue or any real idea of what's going on, why you seeing these things, why you're a part of these things, why you're being exposed to these things. You have no clue. And you have no clue because a lot of you have lost your souls already. A lot of you have lost your soul, so you're trapped into this spiritual form of energy. You have lost your souls. You are going with the flow. You, like that brother said, you mix your seed, and you produce a seed that is only going to be able to see light or dark. They will not see the brightness. The soul has been compromised when you mix your seed. Your soul is compromised. Your children's souls are compromised once they mix their seed. And this is what the beast wants. He wants your children's soul compromised. That's why he's pushing the black woman to mix her seed. He's pushing the so-called black man to mix his seed, because they want the souls of your offspring compromised, so they're not going to receive that full projection that full solar projection. They're not going to receive it. That's why they pushing this ignorant music to you. That's why they pushing drugs to you. Every time you turn around, the weed getting stronger, so that they're not going to experience that. They'll sit up here and they'll be, oh, I'm experiencing some astral projection and whatnot. But like I said, 9 times out of 10, you smoke some strong weed or some strong dope, and you going in and out of this in this fluid motion, and you seeing things, and you ain't got no idea why you even seeing these things. You can't put it in perspective. You don't know what the point is of getting this. So then what was the point of having it? That's something that you're barred from. That's something you're locked outside of, and that's something that you're never going to be able to navigate within, because a lot of you have lost your light. You have lost your souls. And you have lost your minds. A lot of you have lost your minds. And once that is going, like I said, you just going in and out of doors. You going through these encounters, and it don't mean nothing. Omnic projection. Omnic projection. Extension of the omni man and the omni woman. The bright race. That's what we're dealing with. That's what we're going to take it to. See, a lot of the people, like I said, they're not going to figure this on another level. They'll think, oh, astral projection. But like I said, astral projection, you got too many concepts out on it. You should know once you hear this, once you hear the solar projection, once you start hearing people talking about, it's everything, it's not mental. All things are mental. That's where you start at. You start with the mental. And you take your physical, your etheric double, you take your etheric body and your soul with you when you go on these journeys, when you travel. That's the whole point of this. If you're not doing this, then what's the point? If you're not bringing anything back with you, if you're not recording anything when you're in these states, then what's the point? You went there for nothing. Much like how you live your life in this society. You live your life in this society with no purpose, no rhyme or reason, not knowing what you're here for. And then when you go in these so-called etheric world, or you go into these states of projection, you get there, you same thing. Same thing. I don't know what I'm seeing this for. I don't know why I'm here. That's the parallel of your life. You don't know what you're here for. You think you just here to smoke weed, get high, tattoo yourself up, listen to stupid music. That's what you hear. And then when you have these things, you're trying to get on a deeper level, then you lost there too. Everything has to be in alignment. Everything. Your purpose. You're not going to find your purpose. You can't say, oh, I want to astral project, but I still want to smoke weed. I want to astral project, but I still want to tattoo myself up. I still want to listen to stupid music. I want to have stupid conversations with people, but I want to astral project. Nah, it don't work like that. You'll bar yourself. You bar yourself. You bar yourself from the extended vision of who you are. You bar yourself. And you're going to keep barring yourself. You're going to keep barring yourself from the extended version of who you are. See? You're going to have a lot of questions that are unanswered. Because like I said, from all these guys that set up here and told me about astral projection, the guy who talked all this crap on my video, he ain't tell me I asked, what did you see? What are you seeing? What good is your astral projection? You telling me that's it, but you ain't giving me nothing. With mental, like I'm giving tons and tons of intelligence to the people and guiding the people in an extended version of themselves. You ain't doing nothing with your astral projection. All you so-called astral projecting people, you're not doing anything. You're not giving us nothing that we can utilize. You're not even no good to yourselves. Think on that, and we'll be right back. Now, music like jazz, soul, these are music. This was music that was created, and this was music that was created definitely or came about through that solar projection. That music came through solar projection. That's how you know it's different. It's not native to this planet, right? It's not native here. It came down through our people. That's solar projected music. jazz, soul, right? The whole point of going through these different states and these different spaces is to find the extended version of you. You're supposed to be finding the extended version of you when you have these encounters, but you never do. You never do. That's how I know it's incomplete. You're supposed to have those encounters, those what you're calling astral projections are for you to find the extended version of yourself, the extended version of the encounters, where you're supposed to be headed, what you're supposed to be doing. It's supposed to be the meaning of life. That's why you hear these mystics, these gurus, these pips, and all these other people. They'll tell you, oh, they going on these journeys and they doing the meditation and whatnot because they're trying to find the meaning of life. They're trying to find the meaning of life. And they know that they have to look beyond the physical realm, beyond this three-dimensional space of person, place, and possession to find the meaning of life. Because they understand that this is all locked in a matrix that is controlled by man, or should I say is man is in charge of. Not controlled, but man is in charge of the matrix. So they're looking to go beyond this matrix, and a lot of times when you're able to receive thoughts from beyond the matrix or receive some reception from beyond the matrix, it's like I tell the people in the Republic of Mentellect. You came out the matrix when you joined the Republic of Mentellect because you're able to receive this message of Mentellect from beyond the matrix, because the message of Mentellect is coming from beyond the matrix. The only way I'm able to give Mentellect to my people is through omnic projection or solar projection. That's the only way I'm able to give it. That's the real full message, because you're able to find what your purpose is through this form of projection. Through this solar projection, you're able to find what your true purpose is. It's supposed to be every time you go someplace, whether you move into a certain place, on whether you going on vacation, whether you meeting somebody, whether you encountering people, places, and possessions, it's all supposed to be points in your life where you're going through a form of growth. So how is it that you have what you're calling an astral projection and you come back empty? You come back with nothing. All you come back with, I saw my body raising up above myself, and I saw I saw myself walking on a cloud, and I saw myself in the rain. Okay, and what is the point of that? What were you able to do with that? Now, like I said, true to form, you if you saw these things, that's fine. But you have to figure out where you fit into these things and why you were able to see these things and whatnot. Were these things that you were dreaming about? Because 9 times out of 10, people daydream, people dream by night. Like I said, people imagine things, or you imagine yourself in these places, because if you are actually seeing yourself in these places, then that means you have something to do within the confines of these spaces. If you're telling me you parted the clouds, then you're supposed to be doing something with the clouds. If you part of the, something in the universe, and you seeing different planets, whatever, you're supposed to be doing something on another planet. Maybe your future ascendants are supposed to do something on another planet, and you're supposed to come forward through them. And you're actually seeing things through their eyes. You're seeing the future through their eyes. If you were allowed to connect for just a minute, whatever, how long you were able to connect, you're seeing things through their eyes. And then that vision, if it's broken, then that means that your children didn't make it because of something you did. If you're not able to see fully what it is that you're supposed to be doing within those future states and those extended states of projection, then that means it was broken because of something you did, something that you're doing that is contrary to or adverse to you finding out what your true purpose is here. It's not enough to just say, I saw the clouds, I saw the sky, I saw the vision, I think I saw the face of God. No, okay, what was the point of that? What was the point? This is what I'm talking about. Extension is just that, the extension of self. Everything that you do, everything you encounter is supposed to be an extended version of your life. This is no different. This is all supposed to be your projection, or this astral projection is supposed to be in its purest state, in the state of perception. It's supposed to be the extended version of your life. If it's not, then guess what? It's something you doing to prevent yourself from experiencing it. It's something that you doing. It's a weakness you got, whether it's an emotional weakness, whether it's an attachment to person, place, or possession, whether you just gotta, whatever you doing, it's keeping you from seeing that full vision. And I tell people, if you're not willing to cut loose those things that you're doing, then you might as well just go ahead and forget it, man. Just chalk it up as a dream, man. Chalk it up as a dream. Chalk it up as a trance, a vision, whatever, because you're not willing to fully explore what that is. And you will never be able to explore what it is without sacrificing something. Sacrifice. Again, like I said, sacrifice was the biggest thing we talked about when people came into the Republic of Intellect. I said, we want to have these extended visions. We want to have this extended mental capability. You have to sacrifice being black people. You can't be black people no more. Because we know black people ain't got no extended vision or nothing. Y'all don't even know why the hell y'all here now. Y'all don't even know who the hell you are. You still think you black. So how the hell black people, Negroes, African Americans, or whatever you call yourself, that a bunch of things that are based in conceptualized limitations, how the hell are you going to have something outside of that? So of course you're going to accept astral projection because that's a form of conceptualized limitation, mental limitation. All you talk about is that you saw objects. You saw events, not how you fit into these objects, not how you fit in these events, not how you're going to shape or change these events. I saw objects. I saw events. I saw things happening. And what are you bringing back? Like how the Dogon did. They brought back something. You understand? They brought back something. We got to continue forward. This is an extension. This is meant to be mental extension. And a lot of times you brought up to the plate to see if, you ready. And a lot of times, like what the brother just did, you judge yourself. You say you ain't ready. So it'll always be broken visions. It'll always be broken visions, broken dreams, broken trances you go into. Because you got people doing the transcendental meditation all the time on this planet. They trying to connect or get enlightened. And so you might cross wires with these people from time to time. Like the brother said, he had a guy turn him on to it, right? And this guy might be trying to evolve himself in some way, shape, or form, right? And you might get caught in that. But, the judgment is you come up to the plate and you like, yeah, I know, yeah, but I'm not willing to sacrifice. I'm not ready to put the blunt down. I ain't ready to, stop listening to the ignorant music, hanging around the ignorant people. I'm not ready to do that. So then just forget about it, man. Forget about it. It just becomes a thing. It becomes just a conceptual thing. That's all. Your blueprint in your life of who you're supposed to be was there, but you won't get it. You will never get it. The people who are going to get it are the people who will sacrifice all the worldly things, all the low-level things, all the submental things. They will get these omnic projections. I'm not even calling it astral projection. I don't deal with astral projection. I deal with omnic projection, the extension of woman and man, the extended or supreme woman and man, or the Superman as we refer to, the Superman and the Superwoman, the man and the woman. That's really what the Superman and Superwoman is, the man and the woman, the extended man and the extended woman. That's why we have our Superman, Superwoman project or projection. We do the Superman, Superwoman projection every month. This is about the extension of the mind, the body, and the soul. Omnic projection. The higher extensions of mental life. And the people, when we do the classes, people's minds are literally blown out to where they can't even come back. They blown out. They blown out where they don't even want to come back because their mind is not up to speed. They used to being black people. They used to people being in the darkness. They don't want to, they rather deal with stuff from the conscious community. They want to deal with conceptualized nonsense from the conscious community. And I should call it the unconscious community. Of foolishness and stupidity and a lot of fast talking and stuff like that. They don't want this because, see, this is work. This is sacrifice. This is collective transmission together to come up with an extended and future version of self and kind. That's what this is about. To become those lords on earth. Those lords on earth. Not gods. Not devils. Lords. Those of judgmental power and perception. And the judgment that we make is based on how far we're going to go, whether we will continue or not. That's a judgment we make on our own as a collective. This is beyond woman and man, beyond God and the devil, beyond good and evil, beyond polarities, beyond limitations. And your astral projection is nothing but limitations. I have not had anybody tell me they've experienced some astral projection and given me anything of any real substance from their so-called encounters. Nothing. They've given me nothing. They've given me nothing but, they've given me nothing but some, transcendental encounters. I was here, I was there. That's nothing. That's nothing. What it says is you were walked up to the gate and you had a chance to either go through the gate or stay on the other side. And many of you who walked up to the gate, you stay on the other side. You stay on the other side. You stay on the side of man, and you keep on embracing the concept. You keep embracing the concept until the concept begins to fade. Until it begins to fade, it means nothing. So astral projection is nothing but a concept of man from the real perception of solar or omnic projection. Astral projection is nothing but a conception. That's why we call it astral conception, a concept of man, a limited concept of man from the true omnic projection in which our ascendants work from the highest states, the state of power. The state of power above person, place, and possession. The state of power. Pure mind power, pure soul power, pure etheric body power. Well, everything becomes a pure form of high, bright, powered energy. High, bright, powered energy. Pathmatics. Beyond the mathematic. Pathmatical ability. Where there is no limitation, there is no start, there is no finish. There's only continuation. There's only continuation, and if you constantly continuing on a path, on a journey, then that means that the picture becomes more defined. So if you're having these projections, these omnic projections, if you're really serious, you're going to have omnic projections, not astral projection. See, when you're really serious about the projection, when you're really serious about the travel, when you're really serious about leaving the physical body, that means you got to take the mind, the etheric body, and the soul with you, all in alignment. If you're not doing that, then you ain't going nowhere, man. If this guy, like that guy Kevin, whatever your name is, you'll know, because like I said, you listen to the, what's the name, you told me about the astral body, you ain't going nowhere, man. It's all a concept to you. You just follow another concept. You know different than the people that follow religion and spirituality. You astral projection, you astral projection spiritual people. You know different than the people that follow religion and atheism and all that other nonsense, all that submental, low-level nonsense. So let me go ahead and read these questions before we get out of here. Is astral projection real? Yeah, it's a real concept. It's not the real perception, which is what you need. The real perception is omnic projection, the extended vision of woman and man, the alignment of mind, etheric body, and soul. That is omnic projection. Astral projection is nothing but a concept, a spoken concept of man. That's why you see the Rosicrucians doing it. They into it. The theosophical people, right? The I forget what the other people are. The Hermetic people, all these people into the Buddhists, they all into that stuff. They all into astral projection talk. Eastern, Western, they all into it. What is astral projection? Astral projection is supposed to be the experience of traveling outside the body, a spiritual or soul journey and whatnot. But the problem is the majority of the people on the planet don't have souls. The white race don't have souls. The majority of the black race don't have souls. The East Indians and the Asians don't have souls. It's only the bright people who are coming out of the black race, they have souls. So those are the only ones that can really project. Because all projection is based on solar power, solar energy, all projection. There is no projection through spirit, because spirit is water energy. There's only solar or amenic projection. Astral projection is just a concept of man that is based on a limitation of person, place, and possession here on earth. Is this a concept or perception? It's a concept. Like I said, perception is something you actually experience. Concepts are things that you come across and hear other people talking about. Because you guys would have never knew about no astral projection if you didn't hear some conscious Negro talking about it, and he wouldn't have known about it, or she wouldn't know about it unless she heard some East Indian or some Asian or some Caucasian who in that theosophical stuff talking about it. So that's the only reason y'all don't even know about astral projection. There ain't nothing but some worn down, passed down concept of the white man and the rest of the human race, man. That's all it is. And I'm not trying to be racist about it. I'm being real. Being real. It's nothing but some passed down concept. You don't even know what the real perception is. Y'all ain't ready for the real perception. We doing that through amenic perception. The first perception. Not no concept. Y'all ain't ready for the perception. Y'all still dealing with the concept. You trying to figure out if the concept is real. Right? Just like chakra points and all this other stuff that you believe y'all got chakra points when y'all ain't got no chakra points. I brought that out. Black people don't have chakra points. The white man, the East Indian, they have chakra points. We don't got no chakra points. We got solar complexes, but I'm not going to go into that now because we got 4 minutes left. I did a broadcast on that before. What is the purpose of astral projection? Well, the purpose is supposed to be to travel to different spaces, and you're supposed to be receiving things from it, higher knowledge, but these guys don't bring back nothing at all. I haven't heard anything that they brought back. Only people I heard bring back something through the projection is the Dogons and myself through Mentellect now. Spiritual concept, is this a spiritual concept or a solar concept? Is this a spiritual concept or a solar precept? It's a spiritual concept. Astral projection is a spiritual concept. The solar perception or precept is amenic projection. That's the real one. And that's it. Like I said, check tomorrow Sister ᴘRᴏᴊᴇᴄᴛɪᴏ broadcast. She'll be broadcasting tomorrow at 10 p.m. I am the intellectual Nuben Menkarayzz. This has been Mentellect Radio. I'll be back on Friday. Good night.
It's the Republic of Mentellect, rising out the black race to the white race, out the black race to the white race. It's the Republic of Mentellect, black race to the white race. If it's hell, I'm and then it's hell us. They tried everything just to spell us. Fed us religion, gave us fake gods. Through all of that, we beat the odds. Now we coming together under one flag. Colors red, gold and blue. Superman, Superwoman, that's me and you. The infinite capabilities that we can